Hello, welcome back. So in today's episode of our custom UI, so this is what we did in our previous episode. We did all this. There was a lot of hard work that was done in that episode. Okay. First thing I updated that I've added the GitHub link for this code. You will find it in the description. Even in this second episode, check in the description. You will find the code. Okay. So in our last previous episode, we created this landing page, and then after that, we made, of course, this functionality here of the tabs. We went ahead and we created the cards. We also created this this section of the component itself, the the component itself, component detail, and then we have also this create page where we can create actually category. We can create a component with a thumbnail. We can also give the variation, and we already created two variations here. Okay, and what is remaining now is to create this code snippet. The first thing I want to do, this form looks very small. I'm just going to increase here. So if we just go back to our create form, so we have the create form here. In this create form, we have max width of 2XL. I'm just going to make it for XL. Okay, so that it just expands a little bit. Okay, just a little bit. Just like that. So this is much better, I guess. Okay, that is much better. So we had created this. We had tested the create component. If you go to the UI endpoints, we can just go to this. We have API, we have categories, components, and variations. Okay, we can just go ahead and also test them out. I'm going to duplicate one and pass in here API, and then on the API you can just check, for instance, categories. Okay, we have three categories. If I'm taking you back, we have the e-commerce, we have the marketing, and the application. And then we had also the components. Okay, so I created two components, the inputs and the sign in and registration components. And then finally we have the variations. Okay, so I think the variation we had created only one. So the first problem I'm worried about is that if you check here what we are getting using this in the create form, if you just look at what we get back, I don't think this is going to work for us on the code string. If you look at the code string we are having is a pre, and if you look at this the one that is displaying, where is it? If you look at this one, if you go to this preview or you go to the HTML or React, if you look at the code, there is no preview. If you look at the code, I'm just going to look at the code. If you just go to components, then slug here, then you go to the component detail. So if you look at the code, really it's just like the plain code. Okay, this is the plain code. You can see it here. It's not having any pre or something. Okay, it's not having any pre or something. So for that case, okay, for that case, what we are just going to do is, what we will do is one, instead of using this create here, instead of using this called the query editor, we are going to drop it. Okay, we are going to drop it. I'm just going to go to the variation form. Okay, and here we have the query editor. So instead I'm just going to opt for a text area input. just like this, and we see how this one is going to work. So for this one, I'm just going to comment it out just like so, and I will just put this and I give it the same code string. So here I'm just going to give it a name of code snippet. So we're just going to see code snippet, and then here the name is going to be code string, as simple as that. Make sure you don't put in the same div. So I'm just going to remove this div here, and I'm just going to uncomment this one. Just comment the whole div, this. Okay, then we have this. Okay, so now we have this. Let's just go and see. Okay, so you have the code snippet and just a normal text area. Okay, and we're just going to check with this how it is going to perform. Okay, so I'll just go here and create a variation. Okay, and I'll just say login, and then here code snippet. I just get the snippet code. I'm just going to go here and copy this snippet for the React. Okay, just go and copy this, and I'm just going to go back here, paste this. And by the way, I documented out this API endpoint, so just uncomment this. I think this is going to refresh. Just a second. Okay, now let's look at the one we had created earlier. We had created the one with the name, title, select input. Okay, so this is okay. So here I'm just going to say title is the, just say login. Code snippet is that description. This is the login component, just like this. Let's just go ahead and save. Okay, so new variation created. Let's just go to this API, refresh. Okay, if you check right now, the code string is empty, and this is because we are adding it here. Just remove this. Okay, this is a mistake. Since we removed the other one, we are not going to use this, the one in state. Okay, now it is just actually coming onto the data, so we are replacing it instead. Okay, we can also just always confirm the data. We have the console. Let me just copy again, go back here, and let me just open the console to make sure all the data is there. So just go to the variation, here the title, let's just say sign in component, the code snippet, let me paste this. Description, this is the sign in component description. So this is the description. I'm just going to move up here and submit, save, and we have everything here. Check here in the database. Okay, so we have it. Let's just look at it here. So you can see the description starts with the div and have all this. Okay, so now that we have some things, let's start like actually fetching this data onto the UI, we see what we have. Okay, and for simplicity, I'm just going to go to, I could simply just add studio here to be able to manage the data easily. I'm just going to add another terminal. Okay, I'm just going to say npx prisma studio. Okay, you just have the studio so that we can delete the other old ones. Okay, so let's just open up the studio in a second. So what we want is not start fetching this data. I think we start getting these categories on the UI. Okay, you can get these categories, but then the question is, how do we get these ones? So if I go back to categories, API categories, okay, I have e-commerce, I have all these things here. Let's go and see if, okay, this one has opened. Let's also bring it somewhere here. Okay, so what I want is, we are still on these categories. If you check in the schema for categories, you will notice that we have category and we have components. Let's see if we can also get the components in the categories. If I go to API category route and I go here where we are getting the categories, okay, and I just want to add the include, okay, and I just say the components and I say this to true. Okay, include components to true. Let's see, I don't know if this is the syntax. We can just confirm from Prisma, but I think we can pass in components and just want if we can have, okay, so let me just move up this a little bit. Okay, so you can see now we have actually for each, like e-commerce, I think e-commerce has no components yet, but and this marketing, but if you check the application UI, we have some components. Okay, we have components here, as you can see here. We have two components. We have this, which is the inputs, and what is, and also this sign in and registration, and we have even their images. Okay, let's see how we are going to do this. So we can just go to this home page and let's follow. Where is the home page? Just going to go to the page and see what I have. So I have this component list. Okay, now if I just go to the component list, what do I have inside? I have the banner plus the category list. Okay, so I can fetch from here because down in the category list, let's see what is there. So in the category list actually is where we have these, and it is a use client. Okay, so we cannot fetch from here. So what I'm just going to do is I just go to one step up in this category list here, and I will fetch from here. Okay, so to fetch, we already have the fetch function. If I just go to remind you, in the libs we have this get data function which you can fetch. It takes in an endpoint, and let's pass in next public base URL. Make sure that this one in your env is there, next public base URL, which is correct. Okay, which is correct. Let me just scroll some of these pages, guys. We first work on the fetching things. Just scrolls. all these, and let's just remain with this component list. I think we don't also need the component list, we need this category list. Yeah, so just have here, we have confirmed it is there. I'm just going to close. So in here, I'm just going to fetch the categories. So I can just say get const categories, okay, is equal to await get data, okay, and we have to import get data. I can just going to go and get the get data function, okay, get data from the libs, and I can pass in the endpoint. If you hover on it, it needs an endpoint, and I'm just going to say categories, so it can get all the categories, and they can just make this async, as simple as that. So I have these categories, I can pass them here, categories, and you can pass them as data, but I'm just going to say categories is equal to categories, okay. So you can pass these ones here as categories, and if you look at the categories here, let me just move up, you see it is an array of different components, okay. So these ones, now when you bring them, we pass them to the categories as categories. If I go there here, so they become the tabs, okay. So these, they become you can receive them here as categories, categories, just like that. So these categories, when they come, they become the tabs, okay. So you literally, you could just say here that the tabs is equal to that, or you could go to wherever there is tabs here, you could just say wherever there are tabs, you could just do that. But the simple way, you could just come here and say tabs is equal to categories, as simple as that, okay. The tabs is equal to categories. Now these categories will pass down as the tabs, okay. Now we would have the tabs, of course. Tab.title, we make sure we have these ones on our stuff. We have the title and the description, okay. So now we should just go back to the UI, okay. We should go back on the UI and reload, okay. So now we have them, but this time they are coming from the what? They are coming from the database. Now one thing, if you check how the tabs were, I think there is one thing that we did not take into consideration, which is the type, okay. If I just go back a second here, just to look at how the tabs they looked like. This is how the tabs looked like. Let me just put back here categories, okay. So if you look at this, this is how the tabs looks like: title, description, and one thing that they have was the type, okay. So they have this type here, application, okay. So now what we could do is if you look at the names, okay, we have to include a way, we have to get a way of including the type. We could just go ahead and include it on the let me just see where we are creating the category. So we have here somewhere on the create. Let me just remove this. On creating the category, have only the two things, okay. We could just like generate the two things, and we could generate behind the scenes like a slug to act as the type. Okay, so that we just generate it from the title. Okay, we could just have here. I'm just going to do that. So in a second, I'll just go back to the category. Where is category form? So on the category form, let's see. We're having only two things. We have the input and the text area. Okay, so now we could just come and generate one more thing. We don't need to add it on the form, but we can generate the type from whatever we type in here, from the title. So to do that, I'm just going to use a function which we have it here, generate slug. So I'm just going to say const type is equal to const type is equal to equal the generate slug function, and then this takes in data.title. Okay, so after getting this this, we can add it on the data. So we could just say data.type is equal to type. Okay, we could just say is equal type. So this will add it on this. Now we can come and capture it in the API. So in the categories, inside the API, categories route. So instead of only getting only two things, here we're getting one title. Yes, get also type. Okay, and then let's also just come here and add type, and let's not forget to add it in the schema. So we can also add it in the schema. Okay, so we have the category, we can have the type. Okay, just here we have the type, just have the type, and the fact that we have just added type, we will have to first delete all the existing categories. Okay, I'm just going to go to this Prisma and it's a category. I'm just going to first delete all these data here, just delete them. Just select this, delete 3. Yes, delete all these ones. Okay, so we don't have any. Now I can make changes. I'm just going to come here and run npx. First stop this. Okay, and also stop this. Okay, I'm just going to first run. Okay, make sure you stop this. I'm just going to run npx prisma prisma db push. I'll just run this npx prisma db push. Okay, and to those ones who have not subscribed, please subscribe, and thank you so much if you have already subscribed. I really appreciate, and I also want to make a simple announcement that you can now find the link to support me. You can buy me a coffee. I put this link, and you also see the link in the description, and I've also put the code of this whole clone we are building. You'll find it in the description. So you can just go and find this link of buy me coffee, and whatever you put there, it will genuinely help me, and I will be so much grateful for for your kindness. I will really appreciate. Okay, but let's move on. This is the page. Okay, you'll find this page. I will leave it in the link, and you can just it's not a must, just like a tip. So if you wish, whether $1 or $10, whatever you have, it can help me to really acquire the gear. I just need to buy a laptop that can really handle much load. But let's just move on with where we are right now. So it has already pushed the code. Okay, it has pushed. So we just run again, npm run dev. Okay, and we can also run the studio again, npx prisma studio. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, so you just go and wait for this to start. Okay, and we just try now to create a new category and see. I'm just going to simply go to I'm just going to go to here where we are creating the categories. Let me just reload the page. Okay, let me just reload the page here. Okay, so I'm just reloading the page where we can create the here. If you now check on the categories, I think we have zero categories right now from the database. Okay, I think the app is still loading. Just check. It is compiling. Yeah, so and those who have subscribed, we are really doing good. Thank you so much. And another announcement I want to make is that I'm just preparing a course. There is a big course, a full stack course, where we look right away from the beginning. We're going to look at before React, then we look at React, we look at Next.js, we look at full stack, where we do the next auth, we do Prisma, we do Node.js. So we do a full stack. It will be a full stack course from 0 to hero. And I already have the waitlist. You can just go to the page. I also leave the link in the description. You can check the link here of the waitlist, and you can just go ahead and leave here your name and email, and I will notify you when it is ready. But before the end of this, like I think at the end of this month or the beginning of next month, the course will be dropping. And the purpose of this course is actually to build the systems. We'll not be doing the to-do app. We'll not be doing, as you can see on my YouTube channel, we'll not be doing the to-do app. We'll be building the actual systems that actually make you to understand building applications at a scalable level. Okay, so you can just simply sign up here, join the waiting list, and I will notify you when this is ready. Okay, I'm just working on it, and it is really massive. It will be in sections. Others will be optional. If for instance you don't want to do concepts before React or other things, okay, you will be choosing the options you want to do, but those ones will be a must. But then there will be those ones which are optional, and you will be accessing the dashboard and have everything done from there. Okay, so going back to application, you can see here we have empty, and we can just go ahead and create a category. And let me just see the console, to make sure the type is generated. The first one I'm just going to create as a component is I'm just going to create the first one is going to be e-commerce, and here this is the e-commerce component. Okay, e-commerce category maybe. Okay, we'll edit this in the future. Save. So you just look at the here. Surprised it did not just show me. I didn't console the data, the category form. Oh, I didn't. But let's look at the created category. I can see it here on the console. Okay, so the type is there. You can see the type is e-commerce. Okay, the type is e-commerce, and that's good. Let's go ahead and create others. So we have application UI, and this is the application UI category. Okay, just create this. And lastly, we can just say lastly we have the marketing. So you just say here marketing, and this is the marketing. This is the marketing category, just like that. Save. Okay, so we have now these three categories. We can now go ahead and create the components. I don't know if we just go back and fetch here. If now you fetch categories, you have them and they have no components yet. Okay, let's just go and add one component, and I'm just going to add the component in the, so here the component, just going to say, okay, let me just first close this, and for the categories we just refresh here so that it can fetch the categories. Okay, if you just come here, you can see we have them here. So the categories, we have them. I'm just going to create application UI, and I'm just going to create the sign in and register, and sign in and register. Okay, sign in and register. Maybe you can just leave it like that. Sign in and register components. Okay, then you can add the thumbnail. Let's add the thumbnail. Okay, just add the thumbnail, and we could just create a simple thumbnail right now. Let me first cancel here. Let's create a simple thumbnail from the preview here. I'm just going to come and cut this. Of course, we'll be creating, you can create a nice thumbnail, but for this case just create a simple one like this, simple like that. Screen that, save. And just saving the thumbnail here. They just save it in the downloads, and just going to say thumb, just like that. And let's go back to the upload here, upload. Okay, the thumb. Okay, upload it. Okay, let's just see. Okay, it seems that it uploaded, so I'm just going to go ahead and create this. Okay, save component. Okay, so the component has been created. Okay, so I can just go ahead and reload again here under categories, and you can see one of the categories, which is this application UI, has now some components, okay, which is this sign in and register components. So let's just go on to the UI, and you can see this time let's just go back. Let's just close this, and let me just go back to the component list. Then we can just go get the categories. So we have here the categories. So if we just go to the categories, we pass them to the categorist. So instead here we get them here, and let me just go ahead and say here categories. Okay, I just say categories. Okay, and let's just refresh the page. Just refresh the page, and we see if we get all the categories. Okay, so you see we get all the categories, and in this format we have marketing, application, and let's say what was the default. So here in setting the default, we have to get one of the categories. Okay, we have to get at least one of the categories from the array here. Okay, we can just say get use state instead of saying application. Okay, because we don't have application right now, we can just say categories. So we can just use the tabs. In fact, since we are using tabs, we can just say tabs. So the first tab, we just get the tab at 0 dot, okay, dot type. Okay, dot type. So we have to use one of these. Just get the first one and just say dot type, tabs 0 dot type. Let's see now if that one works. Okay, let's just see if that one works. I think just need to refresh. Let me just refresh and see if this works, because we get the first item and then we simply set it to be the first one, and I think this time is going to be marketing, and you can see it here already working. Now the marketing is the one which is now active. Okay, and okay, so this is great. And if I change to application, let's first finish loading, and if I change to application, you can see the it is changing the way we want. Okay, this is great. Okay, so now next is rendering this. Okay, is rendering this. So if you just go down here, you see after getting this, you can see that we can pass. We have this if statement if the display is equal to the application, and then we have all these if statements. Okay, so you have to have a way of displaying display category. Let me first see here. Okay, we have the tabs. So after the tabs, we have this display category, and if you check the display category, what it does, it is the one which is showing this grid of components. Okay, so how do we check if this display category is equal, for instance, application? Okay, and this application now is coming from the database. Okay, so that means that what I'm thinking is that we need to do somewhere a map. Okay, we need somewhere to do a map, because here we are checking if the display the displayed category is equal to application. If that is true, then display, then you do that. Else if it is equal to that, so we are checking all these if statements. Right now they cannot work simply because we are just hard coding this. Okay, so the challenge is, how do we do this? Okay, if I do, for instance, a map through the tabs. Okay, if I have, for instance, the tabs dot map. Okay, then I will be having access to a tab, and just a second, we have access here to the tab and its index. Okay, and then inside here we could just now go ahead and check. Okay, because we have this tab. Now this tab is this, you have this, you could check now, do the if statement. Okay, what would we check? Okay, so that is a tricky one. So we have tab and index, and we can check if the displayed tab is equal tab.form. Okay, if we just put this condition, that if, just say if tab dot, so here we are having tab dot type. If tab dot type, okay, no, if the displayed, so we have to have here, if we just say if the displayed category is equal to tab dot form dot type rather. Okay, if that is true, then we just want to return this. Okay, and then here we are passing in the title and the description. Okay, I don't know if that makes sense. Let me just first remove these if statements, just comment out this and see what we have. And we have also to check this, let's just see what we are going to have here on the screen. Okay, so where are these coming from? Where are we having these guards? Let me first check. Okay, so this displayed category, title and description are not doing anything actually. They are the ones having all this loop. Okay, so you're supposed to give them, they're supposed to receive components. Okay, components. Okay, they are supposed to receive components, and then we do a map onto the component. So I'm just going to remove all this, and then you do components. So just say map. So components. Okay, components dot map, and then we map. Here we have a component, and then we have the index, and then let's return this component card. Okay, so this would now, of course, we are going to pass the component to the component card itself, but for now let's just see if this takes effect. Let's go and get on the higher level. Let's go and see this. So instead, passing the we need to pass in the components, and here this is going to be tab dot components. Okay, just like that. I'm not sure if this makes whole sense at all. Okay, we have this. Okay, so right now we don't have anything in any case, and this is because we still have the problem, okay, of this if statement we are writing here, tabs dot map. Okay, so let me see. This is really very tricky. Let's just first see. So we need to display conditionally using the displayed category at the moment. Okay, the only problem is how do we get this? Let me just come here, comment this, and let's comment the original one, this an original one, this one. Okay, so when we click on any of this one, if you look at these buttons, when you click, they set the displayed category. And to understand that, let me go ahead and here just go console.log the type, the displayed category. I just need to confirm this is really changing. Simply go to F12. Okay, just go to F12 and let's see components.map, and this is coming from the displayed category. Yes, displayed category, I think it is this component. Just say by default is an empty, so that we just have a way to bypass that. So by default, let it just be empty. Okay, so I'm just going to see here. You can see by default is marketing. Just click here, application UI. I have e-commerce. Okay, so the problem is how do we get them to use them here on the if? Because okay, so now what we have to do is actually to use this upper one. There is no way how this one can work. Okay, instead of checking one by one, we have to go ahead and use this the map. Just going to remove this so that I just remain with a good focus. So just go back to this one. So we have to map through the tabs, and these are like the categories, and then we have these individual tab, which is a component, and then we check if the displayed category is tab.type. Okay, if this is true, then we return this display category, and we can also pass the key here, by the way. So key is equal to I, this index here, or you could just even say tab.id, but just use the index. Then else we return null. So you say return null, just like return empty or return nothing. Okay, so yeah, this should work. Let's just check. Okay, just refresh. So the marketing, and I can also get these components. Let's console.log components, tab.components, this tab.components. So you can just console.log tab.components. Let me just go to the console and let's look at tab.components. So you can see onto the marketing, there is no any component. It has an empty array. And if I just click on this, you can see there is one component. Okay, you can see here everything. And then we have the application UI, which has nothing. So you can see we have one. Okay, so that one is nice. We have now this going on. Okay, so this is great since we can show this. Okay, so now we have this, and we are sending components to the display category. Then we have these components, we map through them here. Okay, and we'll be having many. Okay, so in this component card is supposed taking the component, so you can just also give it a component. So you could just say component is equal to, and is equal to component. So we get this data here, and then we pass it to this component card. Let's go to the component card, and we receive the component. So here we just say component. So this one is carrying our data. So just go here. For instance, here is supposed to be the slug. Okay, we are going to look at that in a second. Image, okay, this thumbnail here. Okay, is supposed to be component dot image URL. I don't know if this is image URL. Let me just go to the console. Okay, let's look at this data we have here. Yeah, so it is the image URL. Okay, yep, so we have the image displaying nicely here. Okay, let's go ahead. Then this is the title, so this is component title. Okay, now we have these ones which is having like 12 components. We are supposed to have so if you see here, sign in and register components, which is cool. We should, I think, give it a little bit of margin top. Class name, can I give it just margin top of 2? Just add some small, yeah. So we have this, and then now we have these components. If you just go and look at the components, if we look at the components, so this is a component. If you go to the components, they have variations. If you look into the schema, so inside this category we have the components inside here. Then inside the components we have variations. Okay, and we can also go ahead into the API. So if you go to the API, API variations route, actually not variation in the components. So here we can just say include. Okay, so in our fetching here we can say include, and we can include the variations. So you can see variations, set this to true. Okay, so now when we go to components, okay, when we go to components, we see that we can fetch, we can fetch the component with its variation. Okay, you can see this one right now, there is no any variations. Now what I don't know, if we go to categories, okay, so the components here, they are not so we have to get this ID and then we do fetch. Okay, at this point in time, let me see where we have, I don't want this, close. Let's go back to this where we have the component, close this. We have this component card. So in the component card, the good thing with the component card is that this is a client component. Okay, so we can just go ahead and fetch the variations. So we can just say get data. Okay, we can just say const components. Okay, we're getting variations, I think. We can just say components. Okay, so the one we have is, so we can just say components is equal to await. Okay, get data, and I want to get, we want to fetch a single component. Want to fetch this particular component we are on, and then we fetch its variations. So make this one async. Okay, so meaning that here the API would be something like, so the endpoint would be something like we would be getting components. Okay, we would getting components, and you are getting a particular component, which will be component.id, because on the component we have actually the ID. Okay, if you go ahead and you console this, you could just go ahead and console the component. Okay, you see that on the component we have the ID, and I can get the data of the API endpoint of this, okay, of components, and then store component.id. Now the problem, we haven't handled this endpoint, so I just handle this endpoint. If you go to components, API you go to components, you can just create inside here a dynamic route of the ID. So just say here ID, just like that. And then inside you can also copy. I'm just going to copy this, paste it inside here. Okay, so just want to make we don't need post, you can remove for the post. What we just only want is to change here. We have the component, and then here we have to pass in the params request, and then the params. Okay, so here just going to pass in params, and then this on these params we can extract the ID. Okay, on the params we can get the ID, and then we can say component is await-db.component dot find unique. So we can just say find unique, or you could just even use find first. Find unique, and remove this. The only thing you just need to do is where, put where, okay, where ID, okay, where ID is ID, and that's it. And then just get this. This is component. Here just put fetch component. Okay, this is the endpoint, and to confirm, you could just get here an ID of a particular component, just like this one. And let's go to components, and then slash this ID, and we see if we get. So you can see we are getting this component, and it has these variations. So now that means when we come to the component card, we can get this component. Okay, so here we get this component, and from the component we have the variations. Okay, we can get the variations dot length. So here where we have 12, I can just say here components. The problem is we already have the component here, so you can't have here component literally. So what I'm just going to do is component data. Okay, so just have the component coming in and component data. But yeah, so we are refetching this because the one that comes here doesn't come with the variations. Okay, so here just going to have component data dot length. Actually we have say component dot variations, then dot length, just like that. Okay, and this should give us 0. Let's just go into the UI. Everything looks okay. Let's click onto this one, the application UI. Let's reload. Let's reload and see. Read properties of null, use context. What is that? Use context. Just refresh. Okay, just click on the application. Okay, the application now is not working. I don't know why. It's not even selecting. Others are selecting. Let's first go to the console. We see what is happening right now. So the array, just clean everything and refresh. So by default, you have marketing and we have an empty. So if I click on e-commerce, we have this, and when I click on this, like, what is happening? Like it is keeps on like refetching all the time. Keeps on refetching all the time. There is a problem. Okay, so how can we solve that this problem? We are getting here this categories image. Okay, this is the component itself. Okay, let me first remove this code. I don't know if it is the one that is bringing the problem. Let me just remove it and we see if the problem is on that fetch I've made. Okay, so if I just click now e-commerce, in the client, this is this a client? Just remove this. Okay, they just this can't read property null. I don't know where that use context comes from. Where are we getting this use context? Components. If we refresh, okay, so we have this component data not defined. That's fine. You can just remove this. Let's put back 12 that was there. Okay. Now it works, but then how do we prefetch this? These 12 the components that are inside these ones. Now they would come from back from this. Let me just go and see. At this point here where we have tab.components, we cannot find this. If we go to display category, this is where we can also do the fetching. Okay, because at this point in time we are getting components and then we map through them. Okay, we map through them. We could do the fetching from here, but I think it is not necessary. Okay, let's just leave that one out. We'll just handle that later maybe. So we have our components, we are pushing them to the component cart and everything seems to be okay. let's just work onto this this part here. If you console.log the component, okay, if you look at the component, let's just go and reload the page. Okay, if you look at the component, so this is the component card. Okay, we have the category ID, component card at 7, is it? Yeah. So this is what we have. We have category ID, we have image, and the good thing, we have a slug. Okay, we have this slug, so we have to push this slug here. So we have to say components, and then we pass the slug here. So I will change this into something like this. Okay, I'm just going to use backticks. Okay, and the backticks are on the below the escape button. So just, and instead of layouts, I'm just going to simply put $, and I'm just going to say component.slug. Okay, component.slug, as simple as that. So now if I click this, let's just refresh, we should just be using this slug, and that's why we put the slug in the first place. So you can just go ahead and click onto this. Okay, so I'm just going to click onto this. Okay, so the thing is that we don't have the component under this. We don't have it. Is coming very nicely. Sign in and register. Let's go and create at least a variation under this. I'm just going to go create a variation. So just say login. Okay, code snippet. Let's just copy the snippet here, the React code. Copy and just simply come here, paste. Description, this is a login variation. Okay, just simply create this. Okay, the variation has been created, and let's check it out. So if we just go ahead and check now again this component, it should have at least a variation. Okay, you can see it has the variations, and it has so far one variation. Okay, so now if we go to this page, the components, where it went here, close this. If it goes to the components slug, okay, so when you reach on this page, the first thing is to extract the slug. So you can just get it from the params, and then you can extract the slug just like that. And then we can use this slug to fetch data. So can just say, for instance, const component. So you can just get this component and you just say await get data. Okay, get data. And now if we pass in the slug, that means we have to fetch by the slug. Okay, I'm just going to check here. Just make this async. Okay, we are just going to pass in get data, and we are going to pass in the endpoint. Yes, you can see components. Okay, components. I'm and then we can pass slug. We can pass in the slug, and that means this one has to be a template. Okay, just remove this, and then you can just do something like this, slug. Okay, so we pass in the slug here in this get data as the endpoint, so it will be going to APIs components slug. Okay, so there is this one for the ID. We can first we are not using this one of the ID. I think we can change this. We can change this into slug. Okay, where we have the ID, just have the slug, slug, just like that, and then inside you have the route. Then just change here, get the slug instead of the ID, change the slug, and then you can just go ahead and just say where slug. Okay, just like that. Okay, so include variations true, everything remains. Now if we just go here and we get this slug, I'm just going to copy this slug and paste it here, and we see if this still works. Okay, you can see it still gets you the stuff. Okay, we are fetching a single item, not by ID this time, but by slug. Okay, and this is the same concept we use in the e-commerce. Okay, instead of fetching by ID, we fetch by slug. So we have to fetch this here. Okay, so now assuming now that on this page we are getting the component, now this component has variations, we have already seen them. That means we can, down here we can do the map. Okay, so here let's see what we have. We have that, and then you can just do the map. So I'm just going to say here remove everything, and then okay, and we're just going to say components. So you have the component dot variations. Okay, variations. Now it is the variations we are mapping through. So we map through the variations. Now we have a single variation. Okay, and then the item, and then we can just come here. Okay, just like that, and say return, and we can return this component and pass in the key. Okay, key is equal to I, just like that. And of course we are going to pass in also the variation to this. Okay, variation is equal to variation. Okay, so now we should have now these ones should be reduced to one, only one. Let me just close up here. We should only have one, not so many. Okay, just simply do this. Okay, so you can see we have only one. Okay, so now we have to get the details of this one. For instance, we can get this name. So go to the component detail and accept the variation. Okay, we have this component detail, just have the variation. And how does a variation look like? You can just go and we look at a variation. Instead of components, let's get a variation. Okay, we can just get a not variation but variations. Okay, we have one so far, but you see it has the title. So we can get the title and say variation.title, and we can just go on to this component where we have card. We can just say variation.title. So here variation.title, we can have variation.title there. Okay, and then let's see. So you can see title now is there. Login. Now this is where we started getting really hard waters. We have this where we have the code, and then where we have all these ones, the snippets. We just only replace the one for, in this case we are going to remove HTML. We'll see HTML in the future, we'll replace it with something else. But right now, if we can just go and get this code for React. So instead of hard coding this React code, okay, so what is the React code? So here we have the React code. Okay, so instead of hard coding this, if I'm just going to first take this one off, and let me just say const React code. Okay, I'm just going to do this. We have React code, and then so const React code is going to be equal to variation dot code string. So we have this code string that is coming. Okay, is variation dot code string. I have no idea of what is going to happen, but we'll see what we have, and then we can start from there. Okay, as it rendered. Okay, we have the preview, we have the HTML, and we have the React. And this might be coming from, guys, from the database. Okay, we can confirm by adding one more component. Okay, this is the only way to confirm, by adding one more component. So just go to the site. So just going to add a variation. Maybe let's create another component title. No, just use the same here. We have only one component so far. We can just create a register. Let me just say called register. Okay, and the code snippet, I'm just going to go to flow byte. So I'm just going to say flow byte. Okay, I'm just going to go to flow byte, and just going to get the any code block. Okay, just going to go and get any code block and see. Okay, so I'm just going to go here and get the sign in. Can just scroll here. And we have the register. We can just have a contact form actually. I just have the register. I can see the register is here. The register page. Okay, this is how it looks like, and let's look at the code. Okay, so this is the code. I'm just going to copy this. Okay, and just go to, and I will also just take the screenshot. Just go to create the code snippet here. Okay, and then description, this is the register page. Okay, just save this. Okay, and It is saving variation. Please wait. Let's just wait. Okay, new variation created. You can first check it here on the variations. Okay, and this is the current one. You can see it here. It has even the class, so you can just go onto this and refresh. So you should get the second item down. Okay, so you have this one and this one, and this one is saying register. Go to the React code, and the code is here. However much is having a different stuff, but we have the code, guys. This is so amazing, guys. This is so amazing. So we have the code, and you can go ahead and copy it. Like this is insane. Okay, this is, I like this. Okay, so we have the code snippet working. However much we're having this weird color, it doesn't matter, guys. At the end of the day, what we want is to share the code snippets, and it has all this. The only thing now we have to work on is the preview. Okay, first of all, what we put here was not a React code, and it is going to give us errors, more especially on the inputs. Now I'm just going to go to Tailwind UI, Tailwind UI. Okay, and I think I know other components. Let's just look at some other components. There is, I think it is Daisy. Was it Daisy UI? No, it was not Daisy. It was called what? Forgotten. I've forgotten. It's not Daisy. There is another one which gives React components for free. Okay, let me see. It's not this one. It's not. Okay, it's not this one. There's this UI. You can also go and check it out, guys. But the one I wanted was, I think it is called Float UI. Okay, so Float UI components. Okay, I don't think these ones they give free register. Let's see if you click on the sign in. Okay, so they give you this sign in. Okay, they just go and see the React code. Look at the code. So we just want to get this, and because this is a React code, it should work. I'm just going to go ahead and create this simple. They have called it simple. I'll call it simple also. Copy the code. Let's just go and create also under sign in. Let's create here simple sign in, simple sign in. Okay, simple sign in. Code snippet, paste this one. Then here description. This is a React simple sign in page. I just create this variation. Okay, so create the variation. Now let's go and reload here. We should have the third one. So now we have three of them, the three components. Okay, simple sign in and the React code. Okay, so we have the React code and nicely rendered, guys. Look at that. It is so much nicely rendered. Even it has even the syntax highlighting nicely done. Okay, so what we want is to see now the display. How are we going to get the display out of this so that we can render it here onto the UI? Okay, so you just go back to this. We have the HTML code. Okay, so for the HTML code, for now I'm just going to make it empty so that we can just leave it there. Okay, we can just actually just put the same thing for now, since we don't have the stuff. We can just first put this for now. We can just put it there to be the same. Then the question of the day is, how do we render this? Because there is where we have the actual code actually. Okay, so this is where we have the actual code, the preview. Okay, so how do we bring that preview here? Okay, I'm just going to somehow let me see if current display is preview. So this is why we have the preview, and then we have the codes. So the preview is here. So I'm just going to first get this, comment it out, and then try to actually render variation. So here I'm just going to put variation dot, okay, dot code string. This will be really crazy. I have no idea of what can happen at this point. Okay, if this is correct, we have an error. How can we get this here? Really, I don't think there should be an error. Just going to remove this. Okay, I'm just going to make this instead to make it what? I'm just going to make it this here. Sorry, I'm just going to make it backticks, remove this. Okay, even this, remove this, and then just like move it. Okay, I'm just going to say $, just like that. So I have an idea of what this is going to put, but let's see. Can just put the code there, just like that. We are having some issues, and it is just resolving them. Let's see. Okay, so this is what we are having right now. We have the actual code the way it is. Okay, so this is where we uses the pass. Okay, yeah, I think this is where we use the pass now. We could pass this. Do we have the pass coming here? We could pass the code. So I'm just going to install the React. They call it, you just go this site and check that one. They call it html-react. I think it is html-react-parser, this one. Okay, we can also do this html-react-parser. Let me just see if I can install this. This one is going to pass the code. Okay, I supposed to pass the code. Okay, I guess. Okay, let me just go ahead and install this. Just install this. Okay, just down here. I'm just going to say I can stop this. I don't think we need this. The studio now. You can still run the studio. Just going to stop it and just going to install npm react-parser, and the simple way to use it is simply just having this import pass. Okay, and then using the pass, as simple as that. Let it install, and on top here I'm just going to use this pass. Okay, let's just wait for it for a second to finish installing, and this is dependent on the internet. Okay, okay, so it has finished. Great. And just going to paste it this here. Now I can use the pass. Okay, so here where we have the variation. Okay, let me see where I have this, the preview, I can pass in this. So I'm just going to see pass. Okay, and you can get this pass. Already we have it, I think, and we can pass in the code just like that. This pass is from html-react-parser. Okay, so we have done here. If we have here, I just drop this, we don't need this. Okay, so we have here where we say if the preview, then we have pass. Let's see. Okay, we just hope that it just converts this into whatever, but the problem is, what do we need from this is actually we need the actual render of the code. Okay, we need the actual render of the code. Yeah, this might look crazy, but it is actually rendering it. Let's just wait. Voila. Okay, we have some errors. But if you look down here, this one was rendered correctly. Okay, this was rendered correctly, and the third one was also rendered correctly somehow. Okay, the last one is the one which has actually some problem, but the first one and the second one, the one we got from the flow byte, they actually rendered properly. And let's look at the errors. Of course, hydration, those ones are expected. These ones, I think it's just because of the way that one was. I'm just going to delete it, and to delete it I will just need back to bring back this the Prisma Studio. But we are so close. Okay, we are so close. So instead of putting, let me first see, let me see what we did. So instead we would just put this, instead of putting export function. I think what is making the whole problem is this export function. Okay, I'm just going to add a new one. So we have 3. I'm just going to select all of them, and not categories, guys. I just need to add the variations. Okay, we have 3 variations. I'm just going to delete them and I add others. We have the float UI here. It has nice one, some components. You can try them, guys. It has also the login and register, blah blah. You can just come here and search. Okay, I'm showing you all these tools. Okay, just calm down. There is this authentication. Okay, and to show you the same concept, you can see here it uses the same concept. Now if you look at the code, okay, we don't want this export default. What we just want is actually the actual code. Okay, what we need is the actual code, because if you see where we are putting it, we have to understand logically where we are putting the preview. So the preview, we are putting it into this rounded LG sort of a card. Okay, we are putting it in here. We could modify this here, but let's just skip with this. Okay, we could modify the whole thing to hold the preview, but we are using the same with this the syntax highlighter. So for purposes of simplicity, we'll put the actual component. For instance, this one. Okay, this starts here in this max width blah blah. If I just look at this, yeah, I think the actual component starts from like here. Okay, so simply I'm just going to copy this, just go up. Okay, I'm just going to go down before the main. Okay, before the main onto this div, copy this. Okay, and just come here, and then this is basic login form, so just call it that, basic login form. So you just come here, create a variation under sign in, basic login form. Okay, code snippet, paste it. Description, this is a basic, this is a basic login form. Save. Okay, and let's go and see. It is still saving here. Okay, it has been created. So come back this side, let's refresh. Remember, we deleted all others, we only have only one. Okay, so you can see right now it is somehow, why do we have this e.prevent default? Okay, but at least we have somehow we have to learn to see how to put them. Okay, we have to design our own components that fits this, but this is good because you can see the React code. Okay, the code is here. You can go ahead and copy the code, and then you can just look. Of course, the HTML is the same thing, but you can just go and preview how it looks like. Okay, you get the idea. Okay, but then you look at the code. Okay, the ones you have found that works well are the ones with the flow byte. Let's just go to flow byte. Go back to flow byte. Okay, just going to get another one component from flow byte. Okay, we shall just be here and see. So for instance, let's go ahead and get, for instance, we have the register. Okay, so just go here and we get one of the forms. Okay, and we have this nice form, show code, copy this. Okay, and this is the register form. So I'm just going to come here. Okay, I'm just going to come here on create. Let me just duplicate this, go on to create. Okay, let's just go on to create and create a component variation. Let's just say register form. Okay, and code snippet, this one description, this is a register form, and just go ahead and click save. Okay, created. Let's go back this side, refresh here. Okay, so you have this basic form, and then yeah, for some reason you can see this one, but the rendering is somehow off. Okay, somehow, but it shows I don't know, is if just like if you look at the code, of course it would be nice with the HTML, but if you look at the code, we have all this working properly. So just a matter of just like working on our preview, but the preview is there. Okay, the React code is there. Okay, and we can go ahead, so we can just go ahead and now do the actual testing, whereby we have, if you go here under this application UI, we need to show, I feel like we need to show the number of components that we have in here. I don't know why we are not able to, when you are fetching for components, at least we have variations. Okay, yeah, I think we can just show variations. This should be easy. Let me just go to the components. So this is the component card. We have these. So before we do the map, we have this the components dot map. Okay, so we can just go ahead and okay, so when I just go on this component, we have the component. We still can't do actually here component. We can just say component dot variations. Okay, dot length. Okay, component dot variations dot length, and we can default this to 0. Okay, but I just know it should be there now. So if we just go here, let's just wait and see. It should show us the number of components that we have here. Okay, we have here already component dot variations. Okay, just go on application. We have this component dot variations. What is this component? If we look at the console, I think it is in the browser. Let's just look at the console. I can first put this to 0. If component has variations, okay, then we can just do variations dot length. It is an array. I think we can just use I just want to look at the component itself. Okay, if you just click on this, we still have an undefined length. Okay, yes, first let me just first say 0 here. Never mind. Just what I want is to look at the component. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so this is great. Okay, let's see. Application. So this is the component. It doesn't have the, this is the one that comes from this is the one that comes from the categories. Okay, this is the one that comes from categories. So the ones that comes from categories, they don't have actually variations. That's what the problem we're getting in the first place. Okay. So if we want to get the nested, we could see if it is possible to get nested. I don't know if in the Prisma documentation this is where they show they include. You could just go and search for like Prisma include. Okay, the Prisma include function. I just first go to Prisma first. So just go and get the include function, but I don't know why it failed to fetch from here. This looks like it is saying it is a client component. We could send, there is no way we could send these variations. But anyway, so far so good. Apart from that, here the number of components that are inside, so far so good. We could create other things from other branches like e-commerce, and we check all those ones out. Okay, so that we see something like marketing. Okay, so let me just go and try something else. The tail grid. We have also tail grid. It has also components that you can try out. Okay, so this will be hosted. Okay guys, we just host this, and for now let's just go and create and see some other episode. We want to put authentication so that everyone who is going to create should be authenticated. Okay, everyone who is going to create should be authenticated so that we can look at the users and other things. But for now, I'll just host it just direct. You can create categories. Yeah, you can just play around, but do not blast the whole thing. I will shut it down. I will shut it down. So just like try to create to test the system. And okay, and you can also have the look at the code we have written. This is amazing. We have actually all the functionality right now working, because we have the thumbnail rendering. We have, if you click on this one, it takes you to the right page. Okay, it takes you to the right page. Now, to those ones who want to host this, it is still, I think, fetching. To those ones who want to, it's now my internet, guys. My internet right now is very weak. It cannot. Okay, we have still components dot what? This is, I think, because of internet. Yeah, it is just because of internet, but you can avoid these kind of errors by using what is this is in a component slug. So can just go here in this slug, and wherever you just want to do like a map, you can just say question mark, or you could set this by default to be something. You see here, if this, okay, you can just give this a default of an empty array, just like that. Just if it is not there, then it takes in the by default an empty array, and you can use this double question mark. Okay, but you can see it has finally rendered them. Okay, so we have the functionality working properly. I just wanted us to try one more time, like blogs. We could just go under like marketing, I guess. Let's just go under marketing. So under marketing, we have like this about, okay, and then there is this style one. Go and get this code. Now you can see there is this section, blah blah. We can just copy the section only. Just copy the section. This is too much. Just get a simple one, like a call to action. Okay, and let's just click on the first one, and let's look at the code section. Seems like this always big, a lot of big code. Just copy this, and let's look at the preview. I don't know why it's not fetching the preview. Okay, like this. You can just go ahead and create another one. Still the same thing. The internet, guys, this is all about internet. Okay, this is about internet. So the MongoDB is online, so it is the one which is not like fetching. Okay. Okay, so it is now fetching, I guess. So you can see it has fetched this. Now you could just go ahead and create another category. Okay, we just go ahead and create another category, and then we create by just going to create under this very one. Let's just say this was what? Call to action. So call to action. Just create this call to action. Just create. Okay. Okay, just check. Let's check here. Okay, so we have these 2, 3. Yeah, so you can see we have the call to action. However much we still have this kind of bugs. We still have these bugs, but otherwise the the preview sort of like it is coming, but then we have to look for a way of giving it the freedom of taking in the whole component. Okay, yeah, I'm just going to, so in the next episode, what we can just do, I don't know, is adding solving that bug. And another thing we can just do is another thing you can just do is that onto this page we can add also a create a component or something button. But in the next episode, we just solve this bug and we'll add also authentication. Okay, we can add authentication and we can also just try to see how we are creating this. Okay, yeah, thank you so much for watching this. We have done so much in this episode. We have learned so much. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.